Man, I seen everything, man. I was over there at the party. I was getting some girls, that's all I remember. I was getting some girls, and you know what I'm saying, it was a couple girls over here that I was talking to, it was a couple girls over there that I was talking to. Out of nowhere, I just, see everybody running. So I look, I'm like, oh, they running. So I look at them, and I'm like, yo, like, look, why they running? So then I start going over there towards the, running, so in case somebody was ready to shoot me or something. Next thing you know, I see Cuz come out, Cuz came out the little joint crawling. I like, hey Cuz, what going on, Cuz? I walked up to him. When I walked up to him, blood was on him. So I'm like, yo, what happened, Cuz? So I get up on him. I apply pressure on his wound because I'm a firefighter and stuff like that in Berkeley County, West Virginia. So I walk up on him. I'm like, yo, Cuz, what happened? So I get on down, apply pressure to his to his arm and to it. They said he was shot in the head. So damn, he shot in the head. Whoa. So I put my hand on his head, and then when I put it on the head, that would happen. So I told him grab my hand, and he was holding pressure on my hand, that really it. So then police came, and firefighters came, ambulance came, and that would happen. I don't know. August 3rd. I mean, what date is it?
How do you feel about it?
Man, I feel like shoot, I don't know. I'm from West Virginia, so I ain't really coming out here no more. Too many people be out here doing crazy stuff. I ain't really, I ain't trying to get into none of that.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about Juneteenth shenanigans once again, okay? We actually have an update video on some of the Juneteenth shenanigans, and trust and believe, there were a lot of Juneteenth shenanigans. This is why I have to make multiple videos about it, because it seems as if instead of peacefully celebrating freedom for the white man, black people have decided to fight each other and to shoot and to have all types of chaos and destruction going on Juneteenth, when, again, this is supposed to be a time of celebration, okay? And one of the stories that we have to revisit here involves the Juneteenth shooting that happened in Round Rock, where you had two black women, at least one of whom is a mother. They were killed in crossfire after some agents of chaos ended up getting in a fight, and then one of them started shooting, and unfortunately, two of these women lost their lives. So I want to talk about that, but before we get into it, I'm going to play this video to remind you guys of exactly what happened, and then we're going to get the update video because the young scholar has been arrested.
Surrounded in prayer by family and friends is Kevin McNair and children. They are all mourning the death of 33-year-old Lindsay McNair, whose life was taken at a Juneteenth celebration in Round Rock.
They took a mother who loved her family, her kids. She loved me. She loved the community. She loved her people.
Kevin McNair says Saturday he and his wife, Lindsay McNair, were watching the concert at Old Settlers Park when they heard gunshots, and his wife was caught in the crossfire.
She said, I'm hit. I said, you hit? I'm like, where? So that's when I pull out the chair. I'm like, I'm throwing the chair, holding over one hand, I'm moving the chair out with the other, and I feel it, boy, she's hit. And I felt it wet on her back.
Lindsay was struck in the back by a bullet. Kevin says he performed CPR on his wife, but she died from her injuries.
I didn't have any equipment or anything, so help just didn't arrive in time. It just didn't arrive in time.
According to Round Rock police, the shooting that took the lives of 2 and injured 14 was a result of a conflict between two groups.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that, okay? Extremely sad story that I think that the so-called pro-blacks, if they actually really were pro-black, should be talking about, okay? This is an issue that I don't understand why the leadership of these groups, right, whether that be ADOS or the FBAs, I don't understand why they ignore stories like this and refuse to address this, because, again, if the whole point of these movements are to try to create some type of black cultural identity, okay, and this holiday is supposed to be an important part of that, you would think that people would come together and demand that, hey, look, listen, there will be no violence on this day, right? Like, that's strictly against the code, right? Because this is what they have out there. They have codes, okay, that you must follow. You would think one of the codes that they would try to enforce is, listen, on Juneteenth, we can't have any violence whatsoever, right? If you commit an act of violence, if you fight, we're shaming and condemning not just you, but your whole family, right? I'm just saying there has to be a stigma, okay, that is against violence on a day like this, right? I'm just saying, if those movements were led by serious people, but because they're not led by serious people or real revolutionaries, you see on these days where, again, you know, this is supposed to be a celebration, right, for black people. Black people can't even celebrate without worrying about being shot and killed. And it really just blows my mind that the so-called leadership of some of these groups don't ever address these real issues that keep black people from celebrating peacefully, right? You think you want more black people to celebrate this stuff and to, again, build that movement, that cultural identity, but this is standing in the way of that. But there's always silence on these types of issues, right? It's just kind of funny how that works. Again, these people are not being led by real revolutionaries, right? They're just in it for pushing reparations and, you know, benefiting off of people's desperation to get a magical check from the white man that they'll never get. But anyways, let's go ahead and react to the video of the young scholar being arrested here for this shooting.
Chief Alan Banks of the Round Rock Police Department announced 17-year-old Ricky Thompson III of Manor was arrested in connection to the deadly shooting at Old Settlers Park. He was taken into custody by the Lone Star Fugitive Task Force at 7:30 Thursday morning.
So I will tell you this. We know Ricky was a shooter.
Chief Allen confirms two parties were fighting with each other at the Juneteenth celebration last weekend. It resulted in a shooting that killed 33-year-old Lindsay Vicnier and 54-year-old Era Duke. 14 others were also shot. Thompson has been booked into the Williamson County Jail on a charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, but more charges are expected to be added pending further investigation. Police say Thompson did not have any previous criminal history. On Facebook, he posted several photos of himself holding a gun and pointing it to the camera. After news of the arrest, Manor ISD released a statement revealing he was one of their students, adding, quote, "Violence has no place in our schools or community."
Yeah, and they'll probably say that he was going to be an engineer, an astronaut, a lawyer, a doctor, an astronomer, right? This is what they'll say, okay? This is what they'll write about the individual, okay, in order to basically deflect any type of criticism. But again, this is an incredibly sad story that I don't think it's getting enough coverage, right? Because you have two women, right? Protect black women. This is what we're supposed to be doing. At least one of whom is a mother. Maybe the other one's a mother as well, too. But they lose their lives while at a Juneteenth celebration. Again, a time in which you would think that, hey, you know, we can relax and celebrate and to have a good time with each other, right? But you can't, because you have these agents of chaos whom are roaming the streets that have emotional issues, anger management issues, because I guarantee you a vast majority of these individuals don't have fathers in their lives to teach them how to manage anger. And stuff like this happens. And again, the worst part of it is that there is no national outcry when this happens, right? When a black woman loses her life at the hands of a young criminal, a young thug, it's silence and crickets. But if the shooter had been white, we would be having a race conversation all day long. We never hear the end of it. Oh, white man shot two black women on Juneteenth. We can't even have a holiday to celebrate ourselves without being terrorized by the white man, right? This is what they would say. This is quite literally what the rhetoric would be, okay? It would be a national news story if the race of this individual was white, okay? If this guy was white, we'd be having a national conversation. But because he's black and he's a teenager, this is swept under the rug. Nobody cares about the loss of life for these two black women. Nobody cares because the people that took their lives look like this, right? The skin is too dark for them to care. And again, it's a damn shame. It really is. You know, again, this is what I try to say about these groups. These revolutionary groups, ADOS, FBAs, right? If they actually really gave a damn, they would be speaking out about this type of stuff and saying this is not acceptable, right? We're going to get on code, right? On Juneteenth, there will be no violence. There will be severe consequences if you commit an act of violence on Juneteenth at a Juneteenth celebration. There will be severe consequences. That's what real leadership would call for, right? To stop all this. But see, they don't do that. They'd rather sweep it on the rug and pretend like it don't happen. And then they wonder why all the other groups behind closed doors are laughing at them and saying, these people aren't serious, right? They just out here asking for a handout. They can't even celebrate Juneteenth, which is supposed to be a black holiday, right? Black Independence Day. They can't even celebrate that without killing each other. But again, this is supposed to be a serious movement, right? We're going to get reparations, okay? This is what they promise people. It's insanity. It really is. But again, this, in my opinion, has always been kind of the problem with the black community is the leadership. Doesn't matter who it is. It's just been piss poor. There are no real revolutionary thinkers. Because a revolutionary thinker would say, hey, we need to actually worry about these guys, right? This is who we have to deal with. We need to deal with these people, nip this problem in the bud before we do anything else. Because once we fix this problem, a lot of things will actually start to get better. Things will come together and you can actually build something, right? You can create a movement that actually will be taken seriously. But until black people actually can police themselves, and again, fix this type of behavior, there'll never be a serious movement. Okay? That is the honest to God truth that nobody wants to talk about. It is an embarrassment. It is humiliating for Juneteenth to be a day where you have so many mass shootings that are happening specifically at Juneteenth parties, right? I'm just saying that is embarrassing. Okay? It really is. Especially, again, when you want to be taken serious, okay? If your whole complaint is that, well, the white man is oppressing us and the white man is the cause of all our problems, okay? And we also want to check from this same person that is oppressing us, which makes absolutely no sense. But anyways, if that is the argument, then at the very least you want to show that, hey, listen, old Juneteenth, we're not going to kill each other. They'll actually make people take you serious, right? But until then, again, all of these revolutionary groups, right? These pro-black groups, it's a joke. It's a big joke. I'm so serious. And stories like this is exactly what I'm talking about.
And teach within our schools.
This isn't a victory lap by any means. We got a lot of work to do. And I don't think anybody's joyful. I can tell you the detectives aren't in there high-fiving and chest bumping each other. This is a sad occasion. We got a 17-year-old that's in custody right now for pulling out a gun at what should have been an absolutely amazing event, which was an amazing event until this occurred.
Where's his child's father? That should be the question that people are asking. Where's the father? Seriously. Because again, revolutionary idea here, okay? I'm just saying, if I was the leader of one of these movements, right, like the FBAs, that's the question I'll be asking. Where's his father? We need to go talk to him, right? We need to hold the father, the parents accountable, because there needs to be a major social stigma against parents who allow their children to do stuff like this, right? If you're a parent and you're failing to raise your kid properly, you're letting them walk around carrying guns, going to these parties, fighting, being a part of gangs, being agents of chaos, there has to be social stigmas, right? It has to be social consequences. You know, the same way they give social consequences, they call for social consequences against black conservatives, right? By saying that we're sellouts and all types of racial slurs, right? Even though we don't do stuff like this, we don't hurt the black community in any way. If they directed that same energy towards the parents of the criminals, right? These criminal kids, we'd be getting somewhere. Right, but is anybody out here proposing ideas like that, or are they doing just proposing, begging a white man for some money and, you know, attacking black conservatives? Right. Outside of that, what else are they doing? Okay, I'm just saying, one of the biggest problems with, again, these young teenagers, it comes from the parents, and as long as the parents are never held accountable through, again, social consequences or legal consequences, this is going to continue to happen. Because it's really on them. Yes, I mean, this kid is 17 years old. He know better. Okay, he should be locked up for life. But I'm just saying, look who's raising these children. And that's where you can find the solution. But that's never something they want to talk about. They'll never want to talk about that.
Chief Allen says the investigation is far from over. He says Round Rock PD is still looking for additional suspects.
We have a lot of work to do. We know Ricky Thompson was not the only shooter at this event. We are still looking for other suspects.
Exact details on this case remain tight-lipped. Chief Allen says the case will not be compromised as they continue to investigate for the sake of the victims.
We will not stop until the McNair family and the Duke family and the other 14 victims get the justice that they rightfully deserve.
In Round Rock, Amanda Ruiz, Fox 7 Austin News.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Again, it's an incredibly sad story. My thoughts and prayers are with the family. I hope that they arrest the other young agents of chaos that were involved, and we can get justice for this family. But it really is a shame that, again, these are stories that happen on Juneteenth, and there doesn't really seem to be any pushback or outcry against this happening on a day that, again, is supposed to be a day of celebration for black folks. And you have certain people that are not allowing black people to celebrate this day because, again, they want to cause violence and destruction, and yet that's not being discussed, right? People aren't, upset about it. People aren't protesting over it. There's no real effort to fight back against this. And again, this just shows you how unserious a lot of the leadership in these groups are. And that's one of the things that really kind of annoys me, right, about these people that claim to be so down for black people and that are, helping black folks. Is like, well, you're not actually really trying to address the real problems and the real issues or come up with any real solutions that'll actually move black people forward. It seems as if you're just trying to take advantage of people's emotions and feelings rather than to actually, push for something constructive that will save lives, right? And solve the real issues so that black people can actually move forward. Because until the violence problem is solved, black people aren't going anywhere, right? They aren't moving forward anywhere because you will never have a solid foundation when you have this type of violence and destruction within so many communities. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.